The girls, Joan Nesbitt and Tamara Jones in a Toyota Tercel, had started the rally with high hopes, hoping to make an impact. But all the optimism went out the window, first when the bonnet flew open, but more terminal was the back end that gave way. When the car came to a halt, it even had to be lifted off the road.
You know, I really don't know what happened. But what I honestly believe, Joni and I have outgrown our car. We weren't doing anything crazy. We weren't doing anything wrong. I don't know what happened, actually. And then we can never practice because we keep breaking the car.
In the final stages, it was 4 Toyotas versus 3 VW Golfs, with Patrick Ibarra and Julius Machuya leading the Toyota Challenge at the wheel of a Levine. They went on to finish 4th, over 8 minutes behind. Having a strong and consistent run, including taking 2 stage wins, were Dennis Mwenda and Edward Doroge, who had breathed new life into their golf by giving it a complete makeover. They were on the outer edge of the 2 champions, finishing in 3rd, only 1 minute behind. Still, with a broken exhaust, James Kirimi and Kibeli Korir were driving hard. Having given away 30 seconds to Varese, they were on a charge, closing to within 14 seconds with 1 stage to go. They were fastest through the final stage but lost the race by just 2 seconds.
Our exhaust manifold cut, then we started some serious miss. So the car has been underperforming basically throughout the event.
Leonardo, Varese and Kigondo Karevi had planned to use the event as a warm-up for the season ahead, but once underway, this was forgotten. They were fastest through 5 of the 12 stages, and although they won, they very nearly gave it away.
Leading ahead, the winners of a 2-wheel driver. These are Leonardo, Varese and
Were you driving flat out today?
No, maybe 80%. You know, first round of the year, I was looking at bringing the car home, and first time we were going the full loop. So it's gonna be a long season, the way I see it.
The championship standings were a reflection of the final positions. Leonardo Varese taking the advantage, but it's unlikely James Kirimi would hand over the title easily. The favourites to win the Group S class were the 2 Toyota Celica GT4s driven by the Chana brothers, but anyone placing a bet would have been disappointed. Jaswinder, Chana and Rohit Budia were the early leaders, but lost all the time they built up when the ignition lost contact and they were stopped for 12 minutes. They got going, but then the gear linkage came adrift and they were just pleased to finish, albeit 27th. Jaswinder and Ravi Chana fared even worse. Not far into the event, the engine started hiccuping, but with all the dials on the dash reading correctly, they continued. When they diagnosed the problem in service and found the head and other bits had melted, their rally was over.
The first stage was quite of a 2nd and 3rd gear. I mean, I've even overdone it in those sections by using a 2nd gear for a longer period of time, and something melted into the engine. The plugs came out totally tipless.
What they had proved was that they are still masters of sprint stages, and even with a melted engine, they had set the record around the spectator stage. Joel Muchiri and Riyaz Ismail were driving a 4-wheel drive for the first time, having upgraded from a 2-wheel drive Levine. Apart from being a whole new experience, the rally was a learning exercise, and despite losing the power steering, they finished 19th.
I've seen it so easy. You don't have to be fighting the car all the way, because the car it has a traction. It's very good on the road. You don't go off like the way I used to go off with the Levine. Now,
John Muigai and Alan Muhindi had last been seen with the car in a poor state after rolling at the end of the year. The car has since been rebuilt, still carrying their tagline of Ndio Hio, which means yes, that's it. They put in a sterling performance to finish third in the class and came 18th. Relative newcomers to the sport are Mahesh and Ketan Halai, better known as the Shamba Boys. Although they found the surface loose, they had a good clean run to finish second in the category and came 17th overall. All but the two Toyota GT4s were Subarus in the Group S category, all no longer homologated, including the GC8 of Isa Amwari and Job Njiru, who despite this moment were the clear winners by 7 minutes. The car is known to be temperamental, but for a change it didn't miss a beat, and after a flamboyant drive, they finished a commendable 12th overall. The standings on the championship board had been opened, but Isa will have his work cut out to hold the lead. So many strong drivers in the lineup. Amongst the Group N still running were Charles Hinga and Norris Ongalo driving an Evo 7. They had their eye on a top 10 placing and were driving for it when they went wide on a bend and nearly rolled the car. You can see the damage.
Round medium right tightens, we ended up on a ditch, and then the car flipped, then luckily hit at the bank and then bounced back onto the road.
After this scare, they backed off and eventually picked up the Tail End Charlie award. In between events, Ben Muchemi runs a driver training course, and together with Evans Mwenda were trying out an Evo 6 he had recently acquired for the school. This was his first ever drive in a Mitsubishi, and was so impressed when they came 15th that he now faces a dilemma of what car to drive in future.
The car handles very well and it's fast, and you can't know it's silent. There's no sliding on Madoido the way you go sideways. This one is if you point where you want to go, it goes where you want to go. So I don't know what to do with my 12.
Having lost so much time earlier, Rajay, Bharij and Rajay Sehmi had lost the chance of a top placing and were now just exploring the limits of the new Evo 9. Having dropped back to 28th, they spent the rally driving through the ranks and eventually finished 16th.